החברתי הראשון.
ועכשיו מדעי הרוח, בהגשת מונה קל-שגב, לצפייה באתר, בפייסבוק ובאפליקציה.
Good afternoon, friends of the program. I'm Mona Kal-Segev, broadcasting from Tel Aviv, Israel, to all listeners and viewers all over the world. It's Tuesday, the 2nd of June, 3 p.m., the 14th program of Madei Ruach on the First Social Radio. Also today, it will be a fascinating and interesting program with Dr. Gilbert Renaud, who is already with us, live from Vancouver, Canada. Today we have as our guest an inspiring personality who will give us a new insights and ideas, and he will give us also a look at his state of mind in his work as a worldwide authority on recall healing. Good morning, Dr. Renaud. I am so sorry I woke you up so early at 5 a.m. in Canada for our program, but at least today you can enjoy the sunrise.
Good afternoon, everybody. Shalom. I'm very happy to be with you. And I had to get up at 3:30 a.m. to be here on time.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, but I'm sure that you will enjoy from our program. And
I love to get up early, so perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so I know you for 5 years, and I want to introduce you and to tell you a little bit about my experience with you, and then we will talk about recall and your past and how you became such a international teacher to all of us. All over the years, I studied recall healing with you, and I did 5 workshops. And I use this knowledge for my personal healing from fibromyalgia after my car accident. And I use it daily with my clients in the clinic. And I want to tell you, it's amazing. The results are amazing. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to study with you. But for the people that are not familiar with the recall healing, I would love to give a short introduction on you and recall method, if it's okay with you, okay? 1 second.
I'm happy that you do that.
Yeah. Gilbert Renaud, PhD, has been working as a consultant in recall healing, total biology, and in biological deprogramming in Vancouver for over 2 decades. He has 35 years of experience as a professional in the field of holistic health. Today he meets with clients and he organizes workshops and lectures all over the world to help people to understand the benefits of this concept. Dr. Renaud studied the principles of emotional traumas, causing physical disease, the symbolism of illness, and the part of the body that is affected and the corresponding parts of the brain. Dr. Renaud educates and demonstrates daily around the world how recall healing works and never interferes with the medical treatment, which belongs only to the client's healthcare professional. Dr. Renaud has integrated all his studies, life, work experience, and sessions with his clients under the name Recall Healing, which is a great body of knowledge. Recall Healing is a science that helps us to identify the trauma behind any conditional behavior. Every illness has an emotional aspect. By identifying the traumas and the emotional aspect, we allow the body to receive its own natural healing program. So recall healing method is a powerful process when it's applied well. Wow, Dr. Renaud, I don't know what to say. It's 35 years, but before we'll talk about recall, you want to add something?
Yeah, you have made a beautiful synthesis, Mona, and yes, as I said about recall healing, everybody's unique, but we try to use a tremendous body of knowledge to find everything that we need to help a specific person one at a time.
Yeah. Okay, so what are the principles of recall healing method? Can you please give us some more insights?
Yes. So first, we need the principle of for every disease, for everything. To heal from it, we need to understand why we have it.
Yeah.
Okay. And most people go to see a doctor and they expect the doctor to tell them why. But the doctor doesn't know the life story of a person.
Yeah.
And the reason of a disease is quite often the solution of the brain of the person.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means the person went through an emotional trauma, a problem that was overwhelming, difficult to manage, and the brain had to find a solution for the person. is what's important to understand is when we fail to find a solution to an important problem in our life, our brain has just this body that it controls to find a solution. And then, so our job is to identify and resolve the emotional trauma behind condition and behavior. But this trauma quite often comes from our life timeline, from now backward to the time we were born. And then we study our timeline, we study what happened to mom and dad during the time mom was pregnant with us, and then we study what we can do from the family tree. All that is a body of knowledge that helps us to become aware. And that's the key word in recoiling, to be aware of why I am sick. Where does that come from?
Yeah.
What happened? Okay. Most people don't ask questions, and doctors don't have time to question their client. This is why I let the doctor dealing with the body of the client, and me, I work with the emotional trauma.
Yeah, amazing. And what are the sources of the method you develop? Because there are many sources from what I know.
Yes, there are many sources, because long time ago I was a dancer, and then I became massage therapist. I gave 8,000 massage. I work in an acupuncture clinic. I developed acupuncture, and I became natural medicine doctor in 1988 in Quebec, Canada. And then I always felt that I didn't know enough to help my clients, because everything I knew was not enough to help, until I discovered the work of Dr. Claude Sabat, a Jewish man born in Casablanca, who lived in Marseille, who was rejected by his parents, by his family tree, and then he was a great doctor, and then combined with the knowledge of Dr. Gerd Hammer from German New Medicine, is what I create a body of knowledge from that. I didn't invent anything, but I applied it many times. At first, I didn't have any good result, because you need to learn first. You need to practice. And then today I teach that to people so they can reproduce it. And the best student in recoiling are the mothers. Why? Because mothers, they know, they remember everything from what happened when they were pregnant with a child. They remember many things. And when mothers remember, it's fantastic how you can help a child. Okay. So I jump a little bit here and there, but for example, when someone is sick and comes to see me, the first thing is you say, okay, you're sick. You have to ask questions. And the principle of awareness is when you ask questions. In medicine, they are so busy, they don't have the time to ask questions. They just want to give a placebo, a medication, shut up and go. Okay, yeah. But in recoiling, we say, what happened? Why are you sick? Since when? Okay, how it happened? Where were you? Who was with you? What happened before, during, and after the drama? And then, more you explore your life timeline and your story, you create a quantum physics experience where the observer, you, the client, changes the result of the experience. Is the power of observation. But Amazing. You need to observe the right thing. Yeah. And me, I'm there, I'm Sherlock Holmes. I help people to find the real reason why.
Yeah, we're looking for the source, for the roots. Yeah.
Yes.
And how did you end up developing Recall Healing in some point?
But it's based on the, as I said, from a dancer, massage therapist, acupuncturist, and natural medicine doctors, is based on the frustration of not being able to have a good result.
Yeah.
And then when I understood the emotional trauma behind condition and behavior, for example, I work with a woman, she's the wife of an oncologist where I had a clinic, and then she had 30 years headache. And then
wow. Okay.
And her doctor husband couldn't help her. And then he was so hopeless that he sent her to me. And never an oncologist would send his wife to a natural medicine doctor. But he was hopeless. And then she healed when we made a connection. She married him 31 years ago. Yeah. After the marriage, they were sent to another city where she had to quit her career. She was an opera singer. And 1 year later, she lived in the forest to be with her husband. And she felt totally intellectually devalued as a woman, as a person. And her headache started that moment.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine how tough it is.
30 years later in my office, she realized that when she sings, she has no headache. And when she made that connection, her headache stopped at that moment.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, and then so it started like that.
Yeah.
And after that, her husband, oncologist, sent me 100 dying clients from cancer after all the round of chemotherapy.
Yeah.
They almost all died, but I work with them to try to help them. And then that's the way I started to work with this method. I was very frustrated because at the beginning it didn't work. I didn't know all the way it works completely. But because of these 5 years of experience at the beginning, when my main mentor, Dr. Claude Sabat, came, he was Jewish and he had an understanding of the symbolism of the structure of the human being. Now everything became more clear with him. And it is based on his work in total biology that I created Recall Healing.
Wow. Okay. So sometimes by mistake, we have an opportunity to make something big.
Yes, so mistakes are there to build on and to learn from it.
Also, the illness is not a mistake of the body, of course. It's a...
Yes, we say illness is a wake-up call from the higher self, the higher consciousness of a being, to say, pay attention to this. If you are not sick, if you don't have any pain, you don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. It's awakening of the soul many times, of course.
Yes.
And for some patients, your method feels like a miracle because it works. But actually, there is a biological logic behind it. Can you explain the connection between them?
Yes. So we say behind all condition and behavior, there's an important conflict that needs to be identified and resolved. So you have some pathology that is easier to help because there's no real destruction of the body. But you have some program like certain paralysis, some cerebral palsy. Of course, it's more difficult because we didn't find maybe the right way to touch the conflict behind that. We have our limit because the recall healing is not miracle, it's not a panacea. You need to find the story. But for example, I had...
By the way, we have enough time, so if you want to take a time and to explain it, you have your time. Okay.
Thank you. One day, when I launched my website, I had a woman from New York calling me who had the right breast triple the size of the left breast. She had no diagnosis, but I made her talk. And I know the breast is about the nest, the partner, the children. And what I found the reason why she had that problem. And then she was disrespected in her nest by a contractor that came to make the renovation and who made a mess with her nest. And just before she became sick with her breast, he left the apartment. The contract was over. So she went into what we call a repair phase. Because most diseases have an active phase and a repair phase. And what I understood, she was in repair phase from what happened with this contractor. She felt disrespected in her nest. So when she made a connection, I made her verbalize. We talked 45 minutes. And the day after, both breasts were normal. So, and then after that, I had a couple of women with intraductal breast cancer. And we know in biology, this is a cancer that comes as a repair phase, as a recovery from an important conflict of separation experienced by the woman. And most of women with intraductal breast cancer, they start that after something good happened. But before, a long time before that, there was a separation, important separation. So, and that I had 14 women who healed intraductal breast cancer, one after another. I found the way to make them talk, to make them identify the problem. Of course, you have different components that can interfere. You have also the power of a diagnosis the power of the word cancer. And we need to work on all of these.
Yeah.
Because many times what we believe is the attractor field. So if with a diagnosis of cancer, I believe I'm going to die, you know, you need to work on that belief before you even work on the cause of the cancer.
Yeah, sometimes some diseases can be even worse, and only because I remember the conflict between the liver, yeah, and the digestion, that if someone believes that he's going to die, he will have another cancer.
Exactly. So we say secondary conflict,
Yeah,
secondary
exactly,
cancer.
Yeah.
And it's very important what you said. But yesterday I had a session with some of my Hebrew students in Israel. And then I share a story where a young man, 35 years old, had liver cancer. And we know the liver is linked with respect, honor, but also with anger. And he was a nice guy that never said anything. And then when I found the reason of his cancer, he felt disrespected by an association that he worked for.
Yeah.
I made him verbalize, and I said, "Are you going to die for that?" And then his wife told him, "I told you, stupid, to die for that." And then I made his wife right, and he was pissed off at me for making her right. And then, so when he became pissed off at me, he started to verbalize the anger that he never verbalized with these people. Okay, and 6 months later, he healed completely from his liver cancer.
Yeah.
Because we say the beginning of many pathology is when you shut down the word that you would like to say. So if you don't give an issue, it goes in the tissue, the body. For the brain, the tissue is the body. So now when I meet with someone, I know the issue is in the tissue. I need to touch the right story to make them talk about, to make them verbalize.
Yeah.
Okay? So when people verbalize, it's fantastic, it's powerful. But you have to make them verbalize about the right thing. And then verbalize the feeling of powerlessness, of hopelessness. But behind that, the sick people are quite often nice people who never express their anger and grudge. And that is what we need to touch in people as well.
Amazing. You know, a short thing about liver. In Hebrew, we say kaved, and respect is kavod. It's the same letters, kaved, kavod.
Yeah.
And
Kavod is respect and honor.
Yeah.
And most people who have liver cancer, you find in their story a conflict with feeling disrespected, dishonored.
Yeah.
It's
And
fantastic.
another thing that I had about anger, I had a client last week that she is really angry still at her parents. And I told her, actually, for our brain, there is no other person. So if we're angry at someone, for our brain, the anger goes to our body. There is no other person actually in our brain. Yeah. So we're punishing ourselves if we're still continuing to be angry at someone. And I had a client that he had a lung cancer, 4th stage. I worked with him. By the way, he's healed. It's amazing. It's also a miracle. And once he understood that, only this thing, you know, that there is no other person for the brain. It's everything around us. It's us. So there is no any benefit by being angry at anyone. He healed after the. Of course, I worked with him about the father, the way you taught us, and everything, and it was amazing. Only this magical small thing that he understood, and his brain completely changed the.
Yeah, I would like to come back on what you said because it's very important that everybody listen to that. For our brain, the other person does not exist. So if I am angry at a person, if I keep a grudge, for me, I'm against that person. I suffer because of that person. But for my brain can act just on the body that it controls inside. This is why if I keep the grudge, if I don't forgive people, I hurt myself.
Our body, yeah.
You forgive people not for them, for you to be at peace. But you don't have to tell them you forgive them. You don't give a Kalashnikov to an enemy. Huh? So you come at peace inside yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important message.
Amazing. And what are the most impressive healing experience you had with your clients? You know, several that you really, really feel that the most impressive one.
Yeah, for example, when someone has been just diagnosed with a larynx carcinoma, okay, larynx cancer, we know in biology it's a disease that comes as a recovery phase from an important fear, feminine fear, something like this. Okay, but the problem is the client doesn't know that it's a repair phase. So when he comes to see me, I need to find the important fear that he went through before the larynx carcinoma appear. And when you find the fear and you make them verbalize, sometimes the carcinoma disappear before they start their radiation.
Wow.
Okay, so I don't interfere with the medical.
Yeah.
So my job is to work as quick as possible with the clients, and so we see if it works. So the clients will say, the doctor will say, oh yes, where did it go? Okay, the doctor will identify it. So this is why I always like to work on the emotions with the clients to make sure we optimize the physical result eventually. Okay.
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes you don't find. Sometimes this is why you don't put the survival of the person at risk. The person remains always under the control of the healthcare professional. Now, I had, like I said, many women who heal intraductal breast cancer.
Yeah.
And most of them is when you find the reason why. For example, if I can give a message to that to many women, to all women, when a woman has intraductal breast cancer, you need to say since when. And normally we find a reunion, a reconnection with a partner or with a child or even with a mother. Like you come at peace. Because the breast of a woman is for the partner, for the children. It's also an expression of her as a mother or her relationship with her own mother. So when you go back and you find the reconnection they had, after that you go further back to identify the separation that was there. And when you find that, you find why. And the why clarifies everything. Why it's like this? Because people have a belief that cancer is genetic, that all diseases are genetic, that we cannot do anything about it. No. A disease,
let's talk about it. Let's talk about genetic part because it's important. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so when you say genetic, everything is genetic in the world. Intelligence, even the reason why you work, why you do this work, why you teach, whatever you do in your life, it has to do with the memory that come from the family tree, that come from what happened when your parents were pregnant with you. Okay, we don't invent anything almost. We execute a program and we're not aware of that. And so it's the same thing with diseases. A disease is not really a gene. It's the memory of a conflict that has never been resolved in the previous generation or during the pregnancy of your parents with you.
Yeah.
Even sometime during your early life, and the disease appear later as a wake-up call to say you have memory, you have an appointment with destiny. For that, you need to go back in the past and to check why you have it. Okay, and then so what's important is to realize that behind a gene is a memory of a conflict, but it's not the pathology itself. This is why when we identify the source of the conflict, many people get better. So I have many clients that never heal from the pathology, but after one session, the disease did not progress. They're already very happy with that. Some, of course, they improve by 25%, some 50%, and some complete healing. So what happened with these women with intraductal breast cancer? Most of them heal when they found why. They have a separation with the husband, they miss the husband, and then 6 months later he came asking for forgiveness, and they have a reunion. At the moment of the reunion, the brain says, okay, let's repair the milk duct.
Now
that was
it's a safe
damaged.
time.
Pardon me?
That now it's a safe time. So the conflict
Now
goes.
this,
Yeah.
yes, it's safe time. Okay, and then so she goes into repair phase, and the cancer, intraductal breast cancer, appeared at that moment. So when she realizes that, she forget to focus on the cancer. She made a connection, and the connection that she made is awareness, and awareness is very powerful. It's like an alignment with your own integrity, emotional, intellectual, physical, and you feel complete, and you feel understood. You understand yourself, and you feel understood by the therapist also, which is very important.
Yeah. You know, in Indian tradition, they say native. Yeah, they say that we heal 7 generation backs and 7 generation forward. So
Yes.
I from my own experience, you know, you have of course plenty of clients and experience, but I have one client, a fertility client. We had only one meeting, and we found only one thing in her family clan, 3 generations back. Once she understood it, 2 months after that she became pregnant, and she did all the work that I told her, and it's gone. It's amazing. It's a miracle.
Yes. And what's important is to understand that healing is to bring back the person his own integrity, unity with oneself. Okay, so, and most people who have healed from important disease in the world have 2 important things in common.
Yeah.
They have the capacity to understand why they became sick, and they also change the attitude that they had from the moment they had the disease, and they became aware of the mindset that they had at the moment they created the disease.
Yeah.
And then when they understood that, they realized is by bringing the peace within that everything start to come. Is the capacity to bring the peace inside oneself, plus understanding the reason why you had the problem. These 2 combined allow healing to happen.
Yeah.
And it's the study of Deepak Chopra and Einstein. They came to that conclusion.
Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about a person that's dealing with the disease, what can you offer to a person who is dealing with some disease?
Okay, so first I'd like to say I teach to people now to be therapists, to do that with their client.
Yeah.
Because now I don't have much time. I teach a lot. But what the first thing I do with people is I ask this question: why are you sick? Since when? And what happened? For that, I make them aware of they have a timeline behind them. And most people think they're victim of a disease. So this is why they are powerless. But when they realize what they experience right now in their body is the fruit of a series of events coming from their life timeline. So when you go from now backward, you realize that there was something shocking before associated with the disease. And then as they talk about that, they realize that they are sick today for something that happened in the past that is finished.
Yeah.
They were not aware of that. That is already a first degree of awareness. And then you go back, further back in the past, and you realize you have similar conflict, but when you are younger, it's like you have the capacity to stuff drama. Yes, but there's moments where it's too much, and you have a boomerang effect of what has never been resolved. This is why Carl Jung in psychoanalysis said, what does not come back to your awareness has a tendency to return as a destiny. So, and when you prove that to your client, through the process of exploring the past, you verbalize, the person talk about it, and suddenly it does not have the same emotional impact. So as you have emotional release, the brain says, oh, I can release the program of healing for that person. Okay?
Amazing.
And the best thing to heal is to help the person to come back to his center, to access the center. This is why every technique, for example, that you hear from Eckhart Tolle, when he asked people to breathe, to be aware of how they feel in the moment. Or all the work taught by Joe Dispenza to be aware, self-aware, to bring the consciousness in the here and now. All of these contribute powerfully to healing, because it's when you focus on the present of who you are, it's where healing happens.
Yeah.
Okay? Healing is to become coherent with oneself. So a moment I became sick in my life is because I was not coherent. What is coherence? It's in harmony between our mind and thoughts, our heart, feelings and emotions, and our behaviors with our action and body. So more you're coherent, more you listen to the little voice, less you're a pleaser. People who try to please others, they are off-center. Most of the time we're sick because we try to serve too much others, or we try to please others. So when you are coherent, you're centered inside, and then you can give, but you can give what you think you can give. You can offer something, but being centered is being at peace inside. And that is one of the messages of healing.
Amazing. I think you answered me now also about the next question, because I wanted to ask you from your perspective, what are the best conditions of healing? And I think you said it now.
Yeah,
unless you want to add something.
Yes, I'd like to add something, because people always wait for certain condition in order to heal. But you can heal. The work is daily in the present, here, right now. And the biggest obstacle of healing is stress. So and the first step to overcome a stress is to breathe. To breathe and to find a way to center oneself.
I'm breathing also.
At least 5 minutes per day.
Okay.
If you can do that, you will become aware of when the stress takes you out of control. Right? Breathing and self-awareness are the core key of healing, plus a constant awareness. People are aware, but sometimes they're aware 5 minutes in the whole day, and the rest of the time they are very sensitive to all influences from everybody around. Right?
Yeah. So, I think you also were talking about that, but maybe you can add more other things that would prevent healing, even if we will find the source and everything is clear.
Yes, but the belief, what we believe, in our society, many pathologies have the word incurable. Right? So, and even cancer has the word incurable. Huh? We know in medicine, many doctors know chemotherapy doesn't heal that much and even cause cancer. Okay? So that means that when we believe in our subconscious that the word cancer will kill us, that we're going to die, because we know many people who have died from cancer, we need to talk about that. Okay? And we need to give example of people who have healed from cancer. And that's a strong belief. And then you have some doctors, when they give a diagnosis, the doctor is like God for the client.
They can kill with the diagnosis sometimes.
Yes.
Or heal. Or heal also.
Yes. If my gut doctor says I have cancer, and if in his prognosis I'm going to die, it's like I want to make my doctor right. Okay? Even if the doctor is a good doctor, he wants to your help, if he believes I'm going to die, I can give him what he believes about me, because he's an alpha, and I'm very influenced by the alpha when I'm sick.
Because we think that we are weak and the doctor is alpha, so we
Absolutely.
have to, of course.
So as therapists, we need to talk about how the clients process the diagnosis. We call that the conflict of the diagnosis. Right? And then also all the belief. For example, when you build a family tree, let's say I give you an example of a woman who came to me. She's a number 2 in her family tree with a stage 4 lung cancer at 45 years old. She's going to die. She did all the chemotherapy. And then I work with her, and after 2 sessions, I know I cannot help her. She's going to die. And then, just before she left, I said, I forgot to build your family tree. She's a number 2. And her mother is a number 1, only child. But her mother, as a mother, was number 1. But that mother is the grandmother of my client. The grandmother had a sister, which is the great uncle, great auntie number 2, who died from lung cancer at 45 years old. Wow. Okay, so there are 2 number 2 with the same diagnosis. So when my clients heard, she didn't know that about the ancestor. When she heard that, she had the chill all over the body. She shook like this, and 6 months later, she healed completely from her lung cancer.
You know, I have that things many times about the names because I'm doing charts to people with their name and their last name with the birthday. And many times I see that the person that comes to me has the same issue if that person was called after someone that died, for example, from some disease or had some... It's amazing, you know? We're called after someone, and the story of that person influences who we are only by being called by that person.
Yes, yes. It's very important. And also, we say when a person has a first name, the first name has 70 meanings. Symbolically, it's what we say in Hebrew, okay? And so you try all the combination of the name, because quite often the disease of the person is in the name, because the name has been given by the parents following their own life story. So it's like the parents are not conscious when they give a first name of what content the first name. And you have the beautiful aspect, you have also the negative aspect behind that.
Yeah.
Right? So, for example, when I have a client, her name is Natalie, and she comes to see me at 30 years old. She cannot get married. She would like to get married. Yes, but Natalie means don't get married. It's one of the 70 meaning. So when she became aware of that, she realized that one of the parents was unhappy to be married. So they gave her a name. She executed the program of not being married for one of her parents who was not happy in the couple. When she made that connection, what you become aware of does not program you anymore.
Of course.
Not long after that, poof, she was free.
Amazing.
Okay? And 5 years later, she was married and she had a child.
Okay. Join us on our Facebook page, הרדיו החברתי הראשון, and watch our program on replay anytime you want. And for those who really want to learn about recall healing and to choose a different path in life, you can join up to 5 workshops that Dr. Renaud will give in July in Tel Aviv, Israel, or of course all over the world that he teaches. For more information, you can visit the website recallhealing.co.il or recallhealing.com. And Dr. Renaud, can you describe the content of the different workshops that you're going to give in Israel next month in July?
Yes, and so at the beginning of July, the 5th of July, I'm going to give Recall Healing Level 1. And that's the most important workshop where you understand the structure of Recall Healing, where does that come from, and how it works. And we learn in there how to build a life timeline, the story of the project purpose, pregnancy, and the family tree. And I give many examples so people get out of this workshop with many more questions, but with a structure to start their research and their process.
I remember the dreams I had in the first recall healing. I healed so many things in the first recall healing.
Yes, and then I explain also with level 1 that if you want to do that, it's a journey for yourself first. But when you do it for yourself, you become an attractor field and you start to do for people. And the problem you have when you start recall healing, you will chase people away from you. Why? Because you ask them, hey mom, hey dad, what are the secrets? You want to know the secrets. Because we say we are sick as our secrets. So The real healing is to bring the secrets to the daily light, to the consciousness. Okay, so some secrets are what we hide in the subconscious, and some secrets are what you ignore that come from your parents and grandparents.
Okay, and the next
and
one?
Then I will have 2 workshops of one day, and one is we do therapy live. So we pick a name in the class, and then people have a health concern, and then I try to help them. Sometimes we have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour to help a client. So I show what you can do the best as you can, and then you initiate a work for the person who keeps going after that. And then I will have one day question answer with parents, especially mothers and fathers and educators. They can come and ask the question to help their child. Okay, so that's very important. And over the last 8 years in Israel, I was asked to do that kind of day, and so that's going to be this year. And then I have a level 3 workshop that everyone who have attended level 1 can come to any other workshop. And in level 3, we see many problems like the heart problem, depression. We see also all pathology. We're going to talk about COVID, of course, because we talk about viruses, bacteria, germs, and we talk also about the kidney problems, about pulmonary problems, okay, just to name a few, and many tricks. So you have 3 days of very intense information where people hear something and at the same time relive something, process their own life. And then through the workshop, people ask questions, and at the end of each workshop, we have half an hour just for questions as well. And then I have another workshop, the last workshop on July 19. And this is a workshop where we go through the body from head to toe. We see all the bones of the body, all the body parts.
This is the only workshop that I didn't do with you yet.
Yes, and we see many meaning of Kabbalistic meaning for different body parts. We see the meaning of the teeth. We see the meaning of 300 acupuncture point in biology. And you receive a very important document that becomes your reference book to see the meaning of every body part, acupuncture point, and teeth. So it's very important. It's a very important workshop where the knowledge is extremely intensified. And so many therapists, many doctors appreciate very much this workshop.
I can't believe it, because I hope I will be able to also to come to this one, the last one.
Okay,
and
you will be welcome.
Of course. And we have another 5-6 minutes. So if you would love to touch any subject, whatever you want, of course, related to consciousness, healing, advice, tips, whatever comes to your mind, it's your free time now.
Yes. Okay. So first thing I'd like to say, the best message I can give to people is awareness. Find a way to come at peace inside. Make a list of the unfinished business of your life. Make a list of the people that when you think of them, that make you pissed off, that hurt you, because you need to put them on your list of letting go and forgiving. And you do that not for them, for yourself. Okay? And when you are free inside, healing happen, and something else open up for you. Okay? So that's my best message to you. And have a daily practice where you come at peace. Find a 5 minutes every day to breathe. Me, I like to say to my students that every day I sit down 1 hour or 2 for meditation, for reading something that is beautiful, to feed the soul, to feed the inner self. So like that, you are complete inside. And then when a problem arises from your center, it's easier to deal with it. When you have to heal from a problem, remember, a disease or a problem is a wake-up call from our higher self to pay attention. So when you have a way to be at peace every day, you see these things before they become diseases. Okay, so more you're aware, more it works. And then
because also we
prepare
are not in
yourself-
the stress
Yes.
time when we have
Yes.
our own time, and the body doesn't feel that we need to survive, and we're not in the stress, so the awareness comes and the peacefulness of the body, so the body can also release the emotional conflicts and
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's something else to add to that is make yourself a letting go list of I have prepared. Next time I go to Israel, I will give people a paper that's called letting go and processing in recall healing. And for example, I have integrated in that Ho'oponopono.
it's amazing.
Just repeating, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, to yourself, sometimes helps you to become at peace with a situation. Sometimes you can't change a situation on the moment, but because you say that, at least you bring the peace within yourself. And eventually, when you're at peace, you can deal much better with the situation. And imagine that you have someone in your life that has been very important to you, like a father or mother, or a brother or sister, or an ex-husband, ex-partner. And then today, you're at war with the person, and you feel totally damaged inside by that situation. So I suggest my students, you say, okay, you put both your hand on your heart. You say 10 times, my heart is full of love and understanding. So you repeat that like a mantra, my heart is full of love and understanding. You already feel your heart warmer. And then you take the name. For example, you say, my husband's heart is full of love and understanding. You repeat that. What does it do? It creates a field of energy. And then if you had a problem, if you had a disease inside or discomfort linked with the image of that person in you, you harmonize this image inside of you. Suddenly, the situation with the person start to ease. So more you do it, you can do it 1,000 times. Okay? More you do it, you create a field of energy between you and the person, and suddenly something change.
Yeah.
I have many cases of students and clients, when they do that, the person called them in the same week to apologize or to just you feel at peace. It's a lot when you have a conflict with a person. So Ho'oponopono, my heart is full of love and understanding, are precious tool of letting
You
go.
know, also on Facebook, people can do the small property, maybe even.
Yeah, the small property is not a healer, but help to heal our memories, especially the memories that happen between dad and mom during the pregnancy or in our very early childhood. And today, I like to say to my clients, it is never too late to have a happy childhood. So how can you change your childhood today? By saying the small property. In the document that I will give you in July, I have written the small property made by Dr. Claude Sabat based on the principle of recall healing and the symbol of psychoanalysis. And when you say that, you tell your inner self that the story that happened between dad and mom is over. Okay, now that you can live your life for yourself and you can heal from these memories of the past.
Yeah.
So we teach that in level 1. So I really invite you, for people who have this possibility, to come to the Recall Healing workshop in Tel Aviv from July 5.
Thank you, Dr. Renaud. I really enjoyed talking with you. And I would like to thank again for your time and sharing with us your wisdom and your life project, Recall Healing. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'd like to say something else to you personally, because what I heard from you, you were a student of Recall Healing. You took that, you apply it to yourself first, and then you have helped many people. And then you could see by yourself the impact, the possibility, and the potential of it.
Yes.
Because
I
you
believe
do
in
it.
that. Yeah, I believe in that because it really works.
Yeah, because you did it.
Yeah.
Okay, and the result is when you do something. It's not when you just think about it. So thank you and congratulations for doing it.
Thank you. And
Bravo.
thank you to all of you watching today. Hope the program was useful for you like it was for me. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm also having a program here, Wednesday at 11. And the topic will be the emotional conflicts behind infertility from the perspective of Chinese medicine. I am Mona Kal-Segev. Have a nice day.